We both saw Nosferatu.
Well, hopefully by now everyone's seen Nosferatu. This is kind of a quick reaction to 2024's Nosferatu.
Are we going into spoilers?
Yeah, we can spoil it. There's
spoilers.
Now, listen, hopefully our review of the 1922 is out by this time. I mean, I don't know who's taking so long with that, but
I don't know about you. I really dug the hell out of this movie.
I will say that I've seen it. So this is the thing. This is the movie that I still have issues with that I've seen 4 times. I think it looks really good. I don't necessarily dislike the acting. I think the story is okay. First time I will blame on the theater. Theater fucked up.
Shitty theater.
Yeah, just like something with the lighting. I don't know. Like I had to work hard to see what was going on screen. I think they just didn't have their shit dialed in. And like, I don't know what it was, but I was like, okay. So like, I never actually saw Nosferatu till the end.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was so bad you couldn't see anything.
You couldn't see him.
Yeah, and so I felt like it was. When I first watched it, I think it felt like there was like an overwhelming sense of like this movie's trying to pretend like it has something deep to say, but then like it's not even showing things. And I was like, oh, okay, that's not actually how it is. Like, let me take another look. I've seen it 4 times now. Well, 3.5 if you count the one we had to walk out of because people are assholes.
Really?
Yeah. The worst people in fucking movie theaters now are white film bros. They're worst. It's like it's like it's like the worst. You know, we run a podcast about this, but I would never dare talk about the movie in the theater. If you're like in the theater talking with your dumbass white friends that love movies and are like, "Oh yeah, I really like this. I really like this." Do me a favor and shut the fuck up. Like honestly,
keep it to yourself.
Keep it to yourself. And I do mean this. You have nothing important to say. You don't. Everything that you think about the movie has been said better by somebody else. It's okay to love the movie. It's okay to talk about the movie after. It's not okay to talk about the movie during it as though you have anything important to say. You don't. We run this podcast on the belief that we have nothing important to say. That's the whole foundational thing of this fucking show.
Neither do you.
Neither do you. I think looking back on it now that I've seen it a few times, I think I have some issues with some of the ways that things happen. I think I have an issue with development and how the story moves forward. A lot of this, especially near the end, I feel like is people, there's like 3 people and a lot of it is 2 people finding something out and then other shit happens and then it cuts to the 2 people telling the third what they just learned.
Everybody has to talk about what just happened. Too.
Yep.
You know, what is happening. That I forgave that because what's happening is like horrific. So I can understand why people back then would be all like, what do we do? I don't know. This happened. Oh yeah, this happened. Oh, what's going on? You know,
I thought it was an homage to the original. The fact that it's kind of like that, because that's what happens in the original.
They're trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, basically. But
there's
also,
a lot of talking.
But also that's the MO of silent movies. You have to have the title card to talk about it so that the audience is aware of like everything going on in your thoughts of the characters' minds. This feels like a movie done for the male gaze that is pretending that it's done for the female gaze. Does that make sense?
It's all your fault, ladies.
No, it's like
you brought him in, and now the whole town's gonna suffer.
It's like
is that what you mean?
Yeah, there's like this whole sense of like even like when they have that virgin girl that's naked, right? She's dead center, and like it's focused on her, right?
What was she for?
She was to help guide the horse to the grave initially, Orlok's grave. I think the movie has a lot of similarities. Everyone's comparing it to Dracula. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I go, no, this is Twilight. This movie is Twilight. I do believe it. I generally believe it because in the original Nosferatu, we talked about it, right? It's almost like he happens to find Helen and is like, oh, I kind of am into her. You know, this is just another reason for me to fucking go to Wisburg. You know what I mean?
Fuck it. I need a vacation.
Yeah. And, you know, that's another reason. But in this one, it's all about this no personality, nothing white girl that just is sad.
She called out to him one night in a fit of clairvoyance, and he answered.
He answered from Transylvania, all the way far away, and said,
"I'll swipe right on you too, baby.
I'll be there." Yeah. And in that way, I guess it feels very Twilight, and I guess it feels closer to, you know, in general, how like the development of the romantic vampire has developed over the last, you know, 100 years as everything of like the sexy vampire, interview with a vampire, that type thing.
Yeah.
You know, Lost Boys,
30 Days of Night.
Kiefer Sutherland, not quite. That's not sexy vampire.
Oh, to some.
Kiefer
Dude, there's people that are like, oh, Count Daddy Orlok in this movie.
You must bounce on it. Crazy style. Did you see that meme?
No.
That's the entire, if you want the plot of this movie, it's
You must bounce on it. Crazy style.
we made jokes about that in the initial, we talked about it. It's like, oh yeah, he's after this like Mr. Steal Your Girl and all that shit. But then I'm like, oh, this is actually the plot of the entire movie here.
It's such a remake, bare bones wise, you know, like it really kept everything that the original was extremely famous for, and just did too.
Yeah.
I could tell it's a huge passion project. I could tell he had a lot of love, lots of love for that original.
Yeah.
It's just Robert Eggers. He pulled a Peter Jackson's King Kong with this, you know. It's Robert Eggers Nosferatu, and I could really see it's now this much bigger budget, very elongated, detailed, like lots of added little inspiration here and there, lots of violence, lots of depravity, depression, sadness, character development too. That's the same with how Peter Jackson did King Kong. He added so much to it that it still felt like this has its own identity now, but goddamn, if you know that original movie, you know you can see the love for that original movie in this. I can tell, you know. That's how I felt about it.
Yeah, it's really Robert Eggers, I feel like, just like using all the budget he was given and just kind of being like, yeah, I'm just going to self-masturbate here a little bit. And I don't necessarily blame him for it. There's a lot of references to just German expressionism in general, especially when they're going to the manor down the river or the canal with the boat. Just like how the buildings look on each side is like, this looks very Caligari. Those are probably my favorite shots. There's also a couple questionable shots I thought of, and I'll have to see them again to be confirmed. But I was like, I saw them a couple times and I said, okay, that's, you know.
What did you think of the jump scares? There was a lot of them. There was a lot of them, you know?
I was like, okay, just done. And I was like,
I like that first one, though, that just oh, okay.
You must bounce on it. If you're going to take anything away from the Nosferatu, it's that Nosferatu is the horniest fucking vampire you have ever seen. I saw a post where it was like, Twilight is baby's first monster fucker movie. Shape of Water is monster fucker for like the refined person that loves movies. Nosferatu is monster fucker made by actual perverts.
For perverts,
yeah. I will give a shout out to Lily Rose Depp. I didn't like her performance at first, but it's grown on me.
I thought she was great the first time I saw her.
Good job on having one solid performance.
Why, have you seen her in anything else?
Yoga Hosers.
Sucks for you.
Yes. What else was she in?
The Idol.
Oh,
is that the one with The Weeknd or something? The one that everybody made fun of because it was so bad.
No.
It was like a TV show.
Yeah. Good on her. I know it's supposed to be Anya Taylor-Joy, but I feel like she did well.
I thought she was great. I thought everybody showed up to work. One thing about Robert Eggers, he is an actor's director. He really is. Like he gets a performance. He gets hella performances out of everybody. Hell, this movie even reminded us that Aaron Taylor Johnson is an actor as well. This is the posters they were handing out in the theater. It's just for free. Nicholas Hoult, I thought, dude, some of his scared faces at the beginning were extremely believable to the point where I was scared for him. I was like, I don't think he's supposed to die, but I think he might. Willem Dafoe just shows up to be, I'm Robert Eggers' Willem Dafoe. Yeah. I'm going to be the weirdest goddamn character here, to where he's more useful in this than he was in Beetlejuice 2.
Schnapps.
Simon McBurney, who's Knock. I thought he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
As kind of the Renfield-esque character. Dude, he gets the shit slapped out of him at one point. You remember that?
Yeah.
Nosferatu, Count Orlok, backhands the shit
Stop
out of him.
talking to me.
And I loved him, too.
Yeah.
I loved Bill Skarsgård. I thought I did not recognize him at all. He's the bad guy in John Wick 4. And he looks like himself in that. I sent that to my buddy who I saw Nosferatu with. I was like, oh, yeah, this is what he really looks like. My buddy was like, get the fuck out of here.
That's him, yeah.
Oh, no, he's hot.
Yeah.
No, I loved him in this. I liked how they made him look like a redneck though.
Yeah.
Like with the stash and the fucking like rat tail hair coming down his head.
I thought it was very directly reflected of Vlad the Impaler.
Yes, thank you. Very much so. Very
Like, that was
super Romanian looking, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's how I felt too. I was like, yes, he's very much supposed to look like, sorry to make that comparison again, but Gary Oldman at the beginning of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I was a big fan of is just how the movie is pure horror. Is that there are these...
There's a good atmosphere.
There are these... the atmosphere is fantastic. No one brought this on or anything. I don't want to believe that, oh my God, this is all her fault or something. Like you can interpret it that way, but I chose to believe that
he is my shame. He is mine.
Let him see our love. I was just kind of like, my man, go for it. The horror aspect, I just felt they excelled at. Look, terrible things happen to decent people all the time. That's just life. Mm-hmm. That's where horror kind of originates from. It's just like, these bad things happen. Scary things happen. Trauma happens. Does it have a point to it? No, not all the time. It's just shit happens and people got to deal with it. That's the journey. That's the horrifying odyssey that these people got to go through. And I loved how drenched the movie was in that kind of atmosphere. I was like, this is horrible. What's happening in this town to these people that didn't deserve any of this, Yeah. So I was enthralled by that. I thought as a horror movie from that viewpoint, I couldn't get enough of it, honestly.
Sure. If you had to give it a rating, let's go to our final bit. If you had to give it a rating, what would you give it?
85.
Cool. 65. I'll give it 65.
Nosferatu.
There you go. 75 for Nosferatu. I think that's fair. Very good, fair movie.
I
I really enjoyed it. I still even though I give it 65, I really enjoyed it. Like I just have my issues with it, but I think aesthetically it's a beautiful movie. I think I think everything's on point except the story and some of the way it's shot. But apart from that, I'm happy with it.
I'm really glad you saw it again because I thought that finally this is a movie where most of it's shot at night and I can still see what's happening.
Well, that is true.
Like,
I will give it that
lit.
front. At least, thank God, it looks like you can actually see everything.
Yeah, they made a point to do that.
Yeah.
Like at times it's just like, this just looks like black and white again.
Yeah.
Good for them. A technical marvel, I felt. And yeah, sure, story-wise, it's just the original again, but maybe updated to modern times. They didn't make any updates. They just kind of like the updates they made, I can understand why you call questionable.
Thank you for watching this
You said
episode
to end
of
it.
the 1.5 White Guys podcast. Better have stakes in there like Blade. But you be sure to like us, follow us, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts from. And be sure to follow us on Instagram at 1.5 White Guys Pod, not on TikTok anymore, but on YouTube at 1.5 White Guys Podcast. And we'll be sure to let you know if we get any on any other apps.
And be sure to tell a friend to listen to the podcast where we say we're going to talk about a movie. Instead, we spoil that movie. And if you're not completely sick of us, we have another show exclusively on the Nerd Enthusiast YouTube channel. It is called The Weird, the Bad, and the Bloody, where we bring to you all the weirdest, baddest, and bloodiest movies of the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Fair enough. I'm excited to, we're also on this channel going to be reviewing all the Final Destinations. Hopefully that'll be out soon in preparation for the 6th movie. So be sure to check out our series on all of the Final Destinations.
They made 6?
They made a lot.
Where's Nosferatu?
Well, 6.
When's Nosferatu 3?
No, well, that's a fucking great title. But I hope they make that one. I hope they make that when Lily Rose Depp fucks a 3rd vampire. Bye, everyone. We will see you. And remember, you must bounce on it. Crazy style. See you, everyone. Bye.